and all that. And I think I saw that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I saw at some point that you guys there was a riot and like someone hit your car or something like that. Did I see that on your stories, or am I making that up in my head? I thought I saw like maybe your car got damaged in like a riot or a protest.
So, two things. One,
Yeah.
yes, my car got broken into like the first time I came to Oakland. I
Okay.
forgot that that's a thing. But yeah, I also got caught in the middle of police clash with the protesters when I was just on a date at the restaurant in Oakland. But we escaped pretty quickly. I always carry my press jacket, my press pass, just in case,
What
you
does that
know.
do? Like, hey, I'm with the
Well,
press, or what? Like,
well,
wow.
that lets people know that you are not here for that.
Okay,
I'm not
okay.
on either
I'm on the
side, right?
sidelines. I'm on the sidelines, basically.
Right.
Okay.
So, and it usually lets me get out of, what I mean. So, because you get caught in the wrong crowd, right?
Yeah.
You can have a problem.
Yeah. What do you think about like the protests and the riots overall?
So that's the thing. Like, I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I'm very much in the middle. And just like with Elon
Same.
Musk, and just like with everything we talked about, I feel like truth is really not just on one side or another, right? So, for example, do we have a big freaking problem with cops taking liberties and sometimes killing people and especially black people in a cold blood? Yes.
Yeah.
Why is it happening? Because they have no oversight. But at the same time, there are also times when they do it actually correctly, right?
Right.
And we as people take wrong sides sometimes. For example, Jacob Blake, right?
Yeah.
Um, you know, he has a history of sexual assault. He
Yeah.
basically tried and I believe raped
Yeah.
some people. The
Right.
reason this incident happened was because they were there called because the claim was he was trying to rape a woman.
Right.
Um, and he fought them. He went to his car against all of his and that's another thing. People who don't understand why there were 7 shots and not one don't understand how guns work and all that stuff. Okay, so but at the same time, and like, for example, Kamala Harris visited him because he's a victim of this, right?
Yeah.
But if you're going to be visiting victims, you kind of have to visit victims of his crimes then as well. All the
That's
women he's
true.
assaulted,
That's very
that
true.
woman that he was sexually trying to assault. From what I understand, a child was maybe in the same room with her. So
He wasn't a good guy.
he
I
was
mean,
a
I
horrible
still I
guy.
still think they should have tried to tackle him and not shoot him if they could have.
Well, they
But
tried.
they
They tried to
tried.
tackle him. They tried to tase him.
Yeah.
They tried to put him on a gunpoint
Right.
and tell him don't go into the
Right.
car. So but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
so you're, but the thing is if anybody hears me say this on the other side, they'll be like, Alex is racist,
Yeah.
right?
Racist.
I'm a racist. So, but I'm just saying, hey, maybe we don't glorify a rapist
Right.
when he is possibly also a victim, right? Like,
Right.
we should still
It's
understand that there
nuanced.
could be 2 crimes on a one crime scene, right? But no, that's the thing. You won't find too many people agreeing with me. One side will say, that's right, screw that guy, he's, and another side will be like, well, Alex is racist, right? There is no
Yeah.
middle ground anymore.
Right.
So
I mean, the George Floyd one was definitely worse because he wasn't currently. He was just had like a fake $20 bill or something like that. And like, but the thing is, it seemed to me, every single person agrees that that was terrible. Like,
true,
no
right,
one is on the other side of that one. Like, it's not really
correct,
complicated. But like,
correct.
it's still like riots and stuff. And I think the main cause of like the riots was everyone being stuck inside for so long, and they were all just like, let's go do something. And then I think it's like it's like the anarchists, and like it's their time to shine. It's like, all right, we got an excuse. Let's go tear down the system. And honestly, like, I've never protested or rioted or anything, but it sounds kind of fun. Like, looting sounds awesome. You run through a store,
Yeah,
take whatever you want. I
yeah,
mean, obviously, I would never do that. But like, from someone's perspective who's been stuck inside and they're just like an idiot kid and they don't really understand how the world
right.
works and they're getting permission from like some older people than them, like I can understand like the appeal of it, kind of.
Yeah. And but then look how many issues in there, right? First of all, looters and protesters most of the time are 2 different groups of people, right?
Right.
And then I say, well, these people are looting because they have nothing to eat and they're desperate, right? Well, why are they robbing Nike stores and Best Buys and not
Yeah.
Safeways and
Yeah.
Sprouts, right?
Yeah.
So on another hand, there are peaceful protesters and the protesters who get into face of police officers and try to attack them, right?
Yeah.
So But then police officers go like, whoa, we don't want to cause any more trouble. And then we have a problem with our police being afraid to do their jobs, right?
Right.
So like there's so many different problems there. And but then the other day, police officers here, I think, ran over the crowd because they surrounded them, right?
I saw that.
And they ran over the crowd, and people like, see
ran,
those people.
they ran like away from the crowd, kind of like maybe we saw a different video, but like I don't think they like ran into a crowd.
But that's what I'm saying, right? Like they either didn't touch the crowd or they were ran the crowd, right? There's nobody's like, listen, they were trying to get out as safe as possible, but they were also trying to save themselves from this, and and that's what really happened. There's this great movie. It's a Japanese movie, like it's black and white. I should have probably remembered the name, but it's basically about a story of very simple story about what happens to this couple that goes like into the woods and stuff, and it's shown from the side of the man, I believe, of the woman, and I think the robber, and then at the end of it, it shows from the side of somebody who just was hiding in bushes and observing it, right?
It's kind of cool,
right? So you have 4 stories, and one of them actually the true independent story, and I think that's what's missing. Right. Again, in our television, but again, where I work, which is an electric car industry, is that independent. This is what happens. There's some good and some bad, and no one's 100% right or wrong kind of a perspective, right?
Yeah.